One. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Welcome to another Sunday and Cruise Chat Live. We're home in Orlando, and as always, my wife Rebecca's sitting right off camera over to the side. I hope I've got all the microphones on this morning. I think I do. How's everybody doing? Oh my gosh, we have a whole mess of people already here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, we got Dad Abedict already here. Eric, only 66 days until our Hawaii group cruise. I know, we're getting so excited about that. I can't wait to do the helicopter. Let's see, Warren's here. Nurse Tara, hi, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Beam's mom is here. Alex is here. Macrina, hey, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Good, and Mimi's here. We got a whole bunch of people over here on TikTok as well. Cheryl, Kimberly, Barbara. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Hey, may I invite you to please like, subscribe, share. In fact, just like the heck out of this thing so, other people on YouTube, TikTok, and all around will come find the show as well. We really do appreciate it. We appreciate all of your support. If you're new to the channel, I'm Walter, your independent travel agent with Where's Walter Travel. We're celebrating our third year in business. It has been my wife and I, Rebecca, up until about, 4 months ago or so. And then we had Corey join on. And then right behind, we had Mindy join on. So now there's 3 of us. Actually, 4 of us, 4 of us all together working.
3.5.
3.5. And then we are backed by the amazing KHM Travel Group, which is out of Cleveland, Ohio. It's about 5,200 agents in total. So if we can help you plan your travels in any way, we're also celebrating 3 years in a row being a top 100 sales agent for Virgin Voyages, which is very exciting. There's over 100,000 travel agents in North America selling Virgin Voyages. Rebecca and I are in the top 100 of those 100,000. So very proud of that, very excited about that. We're going on the Scarlet Lady in January to celebrate with Virgin Voyages and the team. So hi, everybody. Good to see you all. And as we're starting the show, I am going to remind you on TikTok, if you would like to ask questions about Virgin Voyages, you're going to have to use the letters VV, or you're going to have to use the name of the ship, because TikTok will not allow you to use the word Virgin. Strange. Virgin Voyages has a huge channel on there. So when do I go to work? I go to work right after this show. I have a meeting right after this show. So I do work. I pretty much work 7 days a week. So that's just the nature of being a travel agent and working at the level that we are. We're actually, as of a couple weeks ago, I'm the number 5 agent at KHM Travel Group, and there's like 5,200 of us over there, so that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I pretty much work 7 days a week. Not full days, but I do work. Well, yeah, Rebecca's going to go, yes, I do work full days. I work very long hours.
Full days and then some.
Generally, my days start around 7:30 in the morning, looking at emails and things like that, and it may wrap up with some breaks in between, but it may wrap up around 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Although, I will say you did almost no work on Thursday.
On Thanksgiving, yeah. I made a few payments in the morning, and then that was pretty much it. I stayed away. So I did very good. I did very, very good. So, Benny, hey, give our love to Judy. I hope she's doing well. Carrie, hello. How's everyone's sports team doing this year? That's a funny thing, when you're cruising and when you get into, I just forget. I didn't even realize that the Super Bowl is going to be happening during our Hawaii cruise. One of our guests is like, are we going to be able to see the Super Bowl? I'm like, are you going to be able to see the Super Bowl? They have a massive screen by the pool. And when we were on the ship for the Super Bowl the last time with Princess, they even had this whole big Super Bowl party at their club at the back of the ship. So, it was, you will, if you are on a cruise ship, you are going to be seeing the Super Bowl. And it's a really fun place to see the Super Bowl, actually. You got all your friends and family. I really enjoy it now just because I don't have any skin in the game. I just want to see a good game. So, and Rebecca will be probably lounging by the pool, or you probably won't. She will be lounging on our balcony. So,
yeah.
Runway Destination, thank you. You like our content. I really appreciate the kind word. Benny, good. Judy got her stitches out. Unfortunately, on our last cruise, Judy took a little bit of a tumble and had to get some stitches in there. So I'm very glad that she's doing well. Yay, Benny. So keep us up to date on that. And by the way, Benny is now coming with us to Italy, so we're very excited about that. We'll talk about our group cruises in a few minutes. If you guys want to cruise with us at all, just go to where'swaltertravel.com, go to the group travel page. We have cruises in there from us, with Tony and Jenny B from La Lido Loca, and now Cruise Man's Garage, which is another YouTube channel. We've got one of their group cruises posted on there. So anything to do with our groups is all on our website. Hey, Darla, how are you? Let's see. Kismet book, cook, and crap. I like that. What cruise is next? Okay, that is a great question. For us, and I'm going to throw it out there, everybody, what is the next cruise that you guys are going on? Rebecca and I are getting ready to go on the Queen Elizabeth, our first Cunard cruise. I'm so excited. I got fitted for my tuxedo. I'm picking it up next week or the week after. Very excited about it. And then after that, we're going to Hawaii on the, actually we go on the Scarlet Lady for the Virgin Voyage, but then we go to Hawaii. So very excited. Very excited. But everybody, what is your next cruise? What is your next cruise? I want to know. Great question, Kismet. And if you have a Christmas cruise question, by all means, drop all your questions in the chat. We'll do our best to answer. Bill's fan, it's snowing in Toronto? Wow. As you can see, it is not snowing in Orlando, Florida right now. We just got through our cold snap. It got down to like 46 the other night. Woo, woo, that was cold. And it was in like the 50s during the day. So, oh my gosh, Bills fan, we were freezing down here, man. But today.
Not that there has never, ever been snow in the Orlando area, but people will freak out if it ever does happen.
It's rare. So, yeah. Okay. So we got Barbara. Thank you. She loves cruising with us. Dave is going on the Carnival celebration for your 22nd cruise. Yay. Congratulations. Kismet, you're sailing on Holland America, December 19th in 2028. Is Christmas dinner more formal? Not really.
That is going to depend on your schedule. For us on the Cunard cruise, it's a sea day.
Yes.
And pretty much every cruise line, if they can do it, will have their formal nights on sea days. So for us, yes, it will be a formal or gala night, as they call it.
And on many cruises, Christmas Day is a sea day because, a lot of the tour operators and whatnot, like they might be operating in the morning, but everybody tries to close up shop. So, Christmas is celebrated all around the world. And so on many cruises, it will be a sea day. So it will be a quote unquote formal night. Now keep in mind that formal night is loose. You don't have to have a suit anymore. You don't have to have a jacket anymore. You don't have to have a ball gown. Even on Cunard, I said, look, I'm getting a tuxedo. I'm getting a tuxedo because I want the tuxedo. Gary Bembridge has become a good friend of mine, and he said, if you're going on Cunard, you don't need it anymore, but lean into the whole gala experience because Cunard is really the last of the formal cruise line. So I got one because I want one. I do have Christmas ties. I have Christmas suspenders. I'm going to have some fun with it. And I got to say, I'm really excited about it. I haven't owned a tuxedo since we got married. So I'm actually kind of excited about it. But if it's a sea day, it will be considered whatever they call it, dress your best night, yada, yada, yada. But you don't have to wear a suit. You don't have to wear a jacket. Women don't need to be in ball gowns. You can dress nice, but you don't have to go all out formal. So, yeah. And then on Christmas morning, there are families that will come out in pajamas and people that will come out in pajamas on Christmas morning to the buffet. I don't have Christmas pajamas, so I think I would like to do that. I would love to do that. So, yeah. Diabetic, you love that our services are free. Thank you so much. I love it. Thank you. I'll get to your second half in a minute. Barbara's going on the Epic out of San Juan to Southern Caribbean. Sandra's going to Alaska next year. Runway just returned from a Carnival Jubilee. I really want to go on the Carnival Jubilee. Kismet, Orlando's your hometown in Ocoee. Yay! Yeah, we're just north of Orlando. Is there any benefit, iRacing Jake, hi, how are you? Is there any benefit to checking in as soon as it goes live? Do you board first, or is that a hoax?
I have an answer for this.
Okay, Rebecca has an answer for that.
It really depends on the cruise line. Cunard, it didn't matter because they assign you a boarding time. Holland America does that as well. Princess, it doesn't matter because there is no assigned boarding time. Now, some cruise lines like Virgin Voyages or Norwegian, they have only a certain amount of slots for each boarding period, and if the quicker you're on, the more choice in boarding slots you will have.
Yeah.
So it's not a hoax. It just depends on the cruise line, how they do their boarding.
Correct. And if you're staying in a suite or something like that, very often the boarding time doesn't matter. You're just going to get the early boarding time no matter what. Like on Virgin Voyages, if you're a rock star, you're the first one to get on the ship. You don't even really need a boarding time. You're just going to get on. So yeah, there is a benefit to checking in the moment. We try to send an automated email to all of our clients, depending on the cruise line, saying, hey, your check-in's opening today or tomorrow. So yeah, good question.
Like I said,
very good question.
It does definitely depend on the cruise line.
Yes, it does. Hazmat is going to Australia in February for Princess. Oh my goodness. And a 6-day land tour of Australia. That's something that we highly recommend, especially, for those of you who live in the States and you're going somewhere, like you're going a distance. Australia, that's a distance. Don't just fly there for the cruise. Take advantage of the fact that you're there and either put together your own land tour, or, we have dozens and dozens of land tour operators. In fact, we're doing that right now. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that's the way to do it. If you're going that far, go and stay for a while. That is lovely. That's lovely. Jake, yes, you do want to check in as soon as it's available for Royal Caribbean, because there's a lot of people, especially depending on the ship. If you got 6,000 people getting on the ship, it is kind of nice to get an early boarding time to get on the ship. So, yeah. John Cooper, Cunard do a typical British Christmas experience. I'm hoping we're going to have a very nice Christmas experience. So Diabetic has a random question. Since a consortium is, it's not a consortium, it's a host agency. There is actually a difference between consortium and host agency. So KHM Travel Group is a host agency that hosts travel agents. Travel Leaders Network is a consortium of multiple companies that can take advantage of the Travel Leaders Network. So there are two different things. So since KHM is based out of Ohio, are there no seller of travel laws? Am I still bound by the law in Florida? No, I'm bound by the law in Florida. I have my own independent seller of travel for the state of Florida. Now, for the rest of the country, I am covered under KHM, but it's like a lot of things that go into that. And I can also get an independent seller of travel at various states if I want to, or I can go under KHM. So it's a long discussion, but that's the quick answer. Benny is saying 327 days till Italy and Croatia. I know. Sue and Phil, 12 days until Azamara in the Eastern Caribbean. Oh, what a great little cruise line. I love that cruise line. You can basically take an Azamara ship and drop it in the Central Park on an Oasis class ship or an Icon class ship. But I love those ships so much. Diabetic's going on until a Disney adventure, 6 months. Wow, that's crazy. Bill's fan, Odyssey of the Seas, September 2026 on the Greek islands. Ooh, that's going to be a pretty one. I like that. Mimi, Virgin Voyages, Panama Canal in March, unless she booked something sooner. I like your attitude. I really do. Nurse Tara's going on the Vision of the Seas in January. Looking forward to the new Royal Beach Club in Nassau. Let's hope it's done by January. Look, they're working on Caribbean time down there. So it's rare that things actually get done on time. I was kind of surprised when Royal Caribbean pushed up the timeline and said, hey, we're going to be done early. It's like, hey, you're probably not. This is the Caribbean. Come on. Things happen on island time.
And Norwegian's pier on Great Stirrup Cay is behind schedule.
Yeah. Great Stirrup Cay is not going to have the pier in December. I think I heard somebody say maybe March now. I don't know. So I can't keep up with all that. But Hey, Silver Librarian, how are you? I hope you're having a good morning on Explorer. Thanks so much for the notes. I passed along the information to Explorer Journeys. So I hope you're having a beautiful morning. We do love those ships. Kismet, considering doing a 3-year circumnavigation for the first part of your retirement on a residential cruise. That is a really interesting idea. You know, there are a couple of ways to go about that. You know, one, you can go ahead and do exactly what you're talking about on a residential cruise. Two, you can do what we just did for a client where they're sailing for about 5 or 6 months, but they didn't want to do one ship because they were afraid they'd get bored. So we put them, I think, let's see, so they started in Iceland, I want to say, and they're going to end up coming around South America at the end of all of this, 5 months later. But they're going on 5 different ships, I think, along the way, because they were just like, you know, if we're on one ship, it's the same dining room, it's the same entertainment, it's the same people for like 6 months, we're going to go crazy. So we would like to kind of split it up. So that's another way you can do it too, where, and the other thing about that as well, the cruises aren't back to back to back to back to back. Like they arrive in a destination. I think in one case they were there for a week. In another case they were there for like 2 or 3 weeks. So that gives them time to explore the destination. And then they pick up another ship and they go on their way. So there's a couple ways to do that. The residential ship certainly is easy. You just book once and then you stay on the ship and you go. But the other way is, in fact, we just did it for another client. They want to go from Los Angeles to Bali and back on a cruise ship. We couldn't quite get them all the way to Bali. There are a couple of ships that do it, but we can get them from Los Angeles all the way over to Indonesia and then bring them back to Vancouver. So it's actually really, really close how they do it. And in between, they can spend between 2 to 4 months in Bali. Their daughter lives in Bali. That's why they want to go there. So there are multiple ways to do that, and that's one of the things that we do. We did all the research. We pulled all the ships together. In fact, the person that wants to go to Indonesia, we presented 3 groups of options depending on how they want to do it, because there's multiple ships that can get them there, there's multiple ships that can get them back, and it just depends on how they want to put it all together. But again, they wanted some time specifically on the way there. They wanted to spend, you know, at least a week in Japan. So we set it up where they're going to go to Japan and then they can be in Japan for a week. In fact, they can be in Japan for a couple of weeks depending on how they set it up. And then another ship will take them along the way. So retiring on a ship, I think that is a fabulous way to go. Nana Joe, you just got off the Symphony. Love the Symphony of the Seas. And you're going on Celebrity in March. Love it. By the way, the question of the day posed by somebody on TikTok is, where are you going next? What is your next cruise? We would love to know. So let's see. Party of one. Hawaii with us and Rebecca. Yay! Love it, love it, love it. Alex says it's 136 days until Philadelphia. Carrie's got the new Statendam in 2 weeks from Fort Lauderdale. Love it, love it. Explorer Journey San Juan to Miami in March. Oh my gosh, Darla, you are going to have so much fun. And we got more people. Kathy's coming on our Philadelphia cruise. I'm so excited. All these people coming on our cruises. We love to see everybody. Hey, Clee, how are you? Kenneth, how you doing, Kenneth? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Let's see. Eric, good question. Hawaii cruise will be your first time sailing with Princess. How does their boarding work? Are there check-in times? No. We don't know. We don't quite understand why Princess does it this way, but there are literally no boarding times for Princess. There used to be 2 lines. There was the green line for the people who had their ocean medallions, and you just go right onto the ship, and then there was the blue line.
I think there still is.
Are they still shipping the darn things? They were supposed to have stopped.
You have to pay for it. It's not included.
Oh, okay. But we can still pay for it and get it shipped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I believe if you already did the check-in and ordered the medallions prior to this change, if you already ordered them, then it's still going to ship free if you have the Plus or Premier.
Well, there you go. So we
will find out, because we
Yes.
did that. We did our check-in and ordered our medallions well before this cutoff.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but
So we will
otherwise,
see what
I think
happens.
it's $10 to get them shipped to you, and you
Yes.
still can do the green line, which supposedly will get you through faster. Although depending on what's going on in Los Angeles, I have heard that their
Yes.
boarding can be a little messy.
Yeah, we've heard quite a few things about Los Angeles being a little bit messy with the boarding. Yeah, that and Manhattan and Brooklyn can be a little messy with the boarding. So as long as you get the medallion in advance, you should be able to go in the green line. I'm glad. I thought they would stopped it altogether. Okay.
Although I have heard some people say that occasionally, if so many people have already gotten their medallions, then the blue line can be shorter. when
Well,
you just
that
pick
kind
it
of
up
happened
at
to us
the-
last time in Fort Lauderdale. The line was, there was supposed to be a line for, what is it? It's not called Pinnacle. Well, it starts with a P, some premier line.
Platinum and
Platinum.
Elite.
Yeah, and the line they never set it up, so everybody was in the one line. So boarding for Princess can be a little chaotic. I don't know why they can't figure out
it
a
can't-
better system.
We've had it where it's been chaotic, and we've had it where it's
Yeah.
gone smooth as glass, so it kind of depends.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, Party of One. That's right. You're staying in the Queen Mary. So the Queen Mary Hotel in Long Beach is one of the coolest hotels, I think, on the planet, because it is a former cruise ship. It was a beautiful hotel. Then it kind of went downhill. Then somebody fixed it up. It went downhill again. Well, the new company that took it over has really done a heck of a job, basically bringing it right back to the way it was when Cunard had it. It just looks absolutely beautiful. So we've got like 3 or 4 guests all staying there. I'm so excited that y'all are going to be staying there. I cannot wait to hear the reviews. I really wish I had gone for Halloween, because it looks like they really leaned into the whole haunted hotel thing. So it looked like a lot of fun. But yeah, so we're going to be in Disneyland before the cruise. So we're actually flying out to Disneyland, out to Los Angeles at the end of December. We're going to be in Disneyland for 4 days before our Hawaii cruise. We're going to have to start talking about our cruises very shortly. Terrence, you got your first cruise with MSC in 2 weeks on the World America, a Christmas gift for your family. Now that is an amazing gift. Travel and experiences. What a great gift. I love it. And the World America has been getting rave reviews from all of my clients. I think I've got, like 20 people on there right now, 22 people sailing on World America right now. They were so excited about it. Big family reunion thing, great ship for that. So yeah, I hope you're going to have a fabulous time. Are we in the DeLand area? I think we're south of DeLand. We're just north of Orlando is where we're at.
Yeah, northeast.
Yeah, northeast of Orlando. Marcel, what is a good insurance company you can go with? So we use and we recommend a company called Allianz, Allianz as in zebra. We have an annual policy with them. We've been very impressed with their coverage. And the most impressive thing for me is we have had, 5, maybe I think 6 now claims by clients with them. And they've all been handled very quickly. Very quickly, they're on it. They take care of everything. So we've been very impressed. However, if you want to compare policies, there's a great website called insuremytrip.com. And if you live in Canada, it's .ca, but Insure My Trip. And you can type in a whole bunch of information, and it will present you with a bunch of different policies that are available to you. Now, the insurance rates are weighted towards how old are you? The state that you live in, that's actually probably the most important thing. Like I can tell you the state of Washington, for whatever reason, has the lowest travel insurance rates in the country. And then, of course, the cost of your cruise. So, and you can also go with trip insurance, which is going to insure that particular trip that you're going on. Or if you're going on multiple trips over the course of the year, you can get annual insurance. And at least with Allianz, the minute you go 100 miles away from your house, that policy kicks in. So it could even apply to road trips, any trip that you're taking out there. If you need a little extra insurance, if something happens, you could potentially lean into Allianz as well. But that's who we use. But I also recommend checking out Insure My Trip, either .com for the U.S. or .ca for Canada. So yeah. Bean's mom said that they were able to order a medallion and have it shipped to the house for a $10 shipping fee. Thank you so much for confirming that. I really appreciate that. Cinderella 9901. Hello, welcome to the show. What cruise line is my favorite to sail? Well, I've always said, and I still believe this, it's whatever ship I'm currently on. That's my favorite cruise ship in the entire world. When we step on the Cunard Queen Elizabeth, that will be our 13th cruise line that we will have gone on. And we have really enjoyed them all. Now, if you were going to book me a cruise tomorrow and say, Walt, I can put you on any ship, that's going to be Explorer Journeys. I love, love, love Explorer Journeys. Small ship. They're not perfect, but they're smaller ships. They're all suites. They're all balconies. And for us, the food and the service has been just absolutely crazy amazing. So that would be the one. Although, you know, if money was no object, I would do Hurtigruten, and I would do follow the Northern Lights across Finland and Norway. Oh my God, that is like the itinerary. That's my bucket list itinerary that I really, really want to do. I'm really excited. We're going to be doing our first river cruise in 2 years. In fact, I'll go ahead and flip that up on the screen for those of you watching. In fact, that graphic is wrong. That's on the YouTube screen. Right now, we have a Christmas Markets river cruise coming up. Talk about a bucket list. Christmas Markets Europe. That's coming up in December of 2027. December 7th through the 14th, 2027. We're going to be on the Avalon View. We're going northbound. We're going to start in Basel, Switzerland. We're going to end up in Frankfurt, Germany, 7 nights on the ship. Rebecca and I are planning to fly into Zurich, Switzerland. Probably going to spend a couple days there because there's beautiful Christmas markets there. Plus, I want to find one of those train rides that goes through the snow and the mountains and all of that. But the reason why I'm saying that the graphics are wrong on YouTube is because Avalon's prices keep going up, and our savings are now closer to $700 per person, not $400 per person. So our rates are locked. Our rates are completely locked until the ship sells out. And Avalon, of course, you know, as we've already got almost 60 people on the ship, so we've got more than 1/3 of the ship already booked. So as we keep booking rooms, the prices for the public are going to keep going up. Our rates are going to stay locked. So our rates right now are around $700 per person saving. So if you've already booked on the cruise, the rates haven't changed. But if you haven't booked on the cruise and you're looking at Avalon's website, you're like, wow, that's getting expensive. You can save around $1,400 for 2 people by booking through us. We're really excited about this one. I'm really excited that everybody has gotten excited about this to come join us on this one. We were expecting, you know, we were kind of hoping maybe 20 people would come with us, maybe 30 people would come. We weren't expecting almost 60 coming with us. So that's really exciting. And now my goal is to book the ship. We've got 3 rooms booked on that ship that are not mine. And I want to just, I want to book the whole ship now. Now I'm like, let's book the whole ship. Let's just take it over. And even the folks at Avalon are like, hey, just book the whole ship. Just take it over. So this will be a lot of fun. So yeah, and since I started talking about the group cruises, I'll run through them real quick. I'll get back to answering questions in just a minute. So, and Barbara saying you saw both the Icon and the Star of the Seas while you were in St. Thomas. They are huge. They are huge and they are wonderful. I'm telling you. Don't just go by the size of the ship and don't just go by the fact that, oh my God, it's 7,000 people, it's way too many people. They are phenomenal ships, and I was not prepared to like either one as much as I did. They are my favorite Royal Caribbean class now. The Icon class is my favorite Royal Caribbean class. I still love the Mariner of the Seas. I love that Voyager class as well, good size. But I'll take the Icon over the Oasis class any day. I really, really will. So. But okay, so Christmas time in the Rhine. We're going to be on Avalon. By the way, Stephanie is coming with us too. If you know Stephanie Mullen from the Sean and Steph channel, barring any last minute obligation to the mouse and Disney, because she is just one of the most amazing artists at Disney. If you have not seen the behind the scenes of the Disney Destiny christening, you must watch it because she's the star of it. She is the star of it. But she is coming with us, barring any last minute, obligations with Disney, but she's got in for it. Of course, we're going on the Cunard. It's probably too late to book with it. Well, you can still book with us if you want to come. If you got no plans for Christmas this year and you just want to come sail with us last minute, Cunard, Queen Elizabeth, sailing out of Miami for 12 nights, December 18th. We're going San Juan, Antigua, St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Martin, and Tortola. Where's WalterTravel.com group travel? You can see all of these groups. You can still book with us to Hawaii. We're going to Hawaii February 4th on the Emerald Princess, round trip Los Angeles, February 4th through the 20th, 2026. Rebecca and I are going to stay at Disneyland for a few days prior. Some of our guests are going to be staying at Long Beach. They're going to be staying at the Queen Mary Hotel. Oh, what a great little hotel. But it's LA, Honolulu, Hilo, Kauai, and then Ensenada. I am doing the Jurassic Park helicopter flight in Maui. I'm so excited about that one. But February.
Not Maui, that's Kauai.
In Kauai. That's what I meant. The Jurassic Park. So this is the Jurassic Park helicopter flight. It takes you to the waterfall that was in that very first movie, and then you actually land. You do the whole landing scene just like they did in the movie. So I'm so excited about that. And that's going to be February 4th through the 20th. Go to our website, click on Group Travel. Of course, La Lido Loca. Tony and Jenny B going on the very first cruise out of Philadelphia in about, 20 years, something like that. Norwegian Jewel, April 16th through the 23rd, 2026. We've got around 200 or so people going on this cruise. If you want to meet Tony and Jenny B, you want to hang out with a whole bunch of people for 7 days. We leave Philadelphia, we go to Bermuda for an overnight, and then we go to Charleston, South Carolina. We were just in Charleston, South Carolina on Virgin Voyages. Let me tell you, folks, if you have not been there yet on a ship, this is an awesome, awesome cruise port. I'm so excited to go back there. We did an amazing food tour when we were there. I don't know what we're going to do when we go back, but wow, what an amazing place. April 16th through the 23rd, 2026, you can still book on this cruise and join the group with Tony and Jenny B. We got 3 sea days, so we're going to have 3 days of activities going on. And then another big bucket list for us. This is really big. So we're going to be on the Celebrity Constellation around Italy and Croatia, October 23rd through November 2nd of 2026. Okay? We start in Ravenna. We're going to Split, Dubrovnik, Kotor, Messina, Salerno, Portofino, La Spezia, and Civitavecchia. What's important about this, I have exactly 3 rooms left at the group rate. Celebrity just took away my veranda. So I have 3 concierge balconies left on this cruise. My group rate with the Wi-Fi, with the beverage package is lower than Celebrity's current rate for just the room itself. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to have these 3 rooms, but I have these 3 rooms right now. Like I said, this past week, Celebrity said, hey, we got to take your balconies. We're taking your balconies back. But you still got the concierge. So that concierge technically should stay with me until we get closer to final payment, but Celebrity reserves the right to take it away from me at any time. So we have 3 rooms left on this cruise. Now, on November 2nd, Rebecca and I are going to stay on the ship, and we're going to do a 15-day transatlantic crossing. So it's going to be 10 days around Italy, and then 15 days across to San Juan. I think we've got 3 couples that are staying with us on the ship. So we're very, very excited about that. So if you want to come join us. And right now, Rebecca and I are working with 3 or 4 of our land partners, and we're putting together a land tour pre-cruise starting on October 17th in Rome. The idea is spend a couple days in Rome, spend a couple days in Venice, and then overnight in Ravenna the night before the cruise. So we're putting together a whole land tour on that. So if you want to come join us, I know I went through all of those cruises rather quickly. Just go to where'swaltertravel.com and click on Group Travel, and you will see all of the groups that we currently have available. So really, really excited about that. So yeah, and we got so many of y'all coming with us. I mean, we got more people coming to Italy than we expected too. We're just so happy that you guys are excited, and we love seeing all y'all on the ship. It's just so much fun. So let's see. Alex wants a group cruise on Explora. Rebecca was actually looking at some dates. So stay tuned on that. I don't think it'll be Thanksgiving.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it won't be Thanksgiving.
We're looking early 2027.
Yeah, it'll be early 27. Because we were scheduled to be on a Holland America in February of 27, but we've since backed out of that. So we can concentrate on doing a group, because so many of y'all want us to do a group on Explorer Journeys that...
And it will likely be the Caribbean, just so people can learn about the cruise line without having the long flights to deal with.
Exactly. So... let's see. Rose Girl, did I already give an update on the Christmas River Cruise 27? I just talked about it. What would you like to know? I don't really have anything else to update on the trip itself, other than the fact that because Avalon's prices are going up, our savings are now around $700 off per person. It's crazy, or up to $700 off per person. Because we've already booked over a third of the ship, so the prices are starting to creep up on the Avalon side, just because of us. Oh my gosh! Let's see what else we got. Celeste is headed side by side on the Carnival, Mardi Gras, and the Carnival Freedom pre-Christmas. I love it. Now, if you've never heard the term side by side, you've probably heard of back to back. So you stay on the same ship for 2 consecutive cruises. Well, a side by side means you're going to go on 2 different ships back to back, and most of the time, sometimes it's on the same day. Like you get off the ship today, and then I'm going to walk over to this other ship, or there might be a day in between. But a side by side is when you combine either different cruise lines, different ships, things like that. And that's a lot of fun, You can still have that long vacation, but you can try out a couple of different ships depending on the itineraries. And then you can put together, because, sometimes a back-to-back itinerary like this is really not that interesting to stay on the ship for the back-to-back. But look, there's this other ship, especially like when you're looking at things like Miami and Fort Lauderdale, there are so many choices, and it's very easy to get from one port to the other port. So, there's just all these possibilities. And we did that where we put 3. We basically did a side by side where we started out with Explorer Journeys, and we went on the Azamara journey, and then we ended up on the Virgin Voyages Resilient Lady. But that was a side by side with 3 total days spent on land in between the in between the various cruises. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So Mimi Mimi thought about Stephanie when you saw the Labubu float in the Macy's parade. I actually haven't asked Stephanie what she thought of that. Stephanie is nuts about Labubu. It is like the most adorable thing ever. And she even had like when we get together, we talk about creating content about it, and she even got me creating kind of like coming up with that. Oh, what we could do? We could do this. We could do that. Blah, 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 blah. So that is a lot of fun. Disney Queen, you never thought about buying group travel deals? Yeah. So group travel is just is the way to go when they're available. They're not always available. Like you're mentioning Disney. Disney doesn't have groups. They don't really need it. So, they don't have group travel, but it all depends. So the whole trick with group travel is you've got to grab the space as close to when it goes on sale as possible. If you wait, like if you were to start a group on the Avalon View right now, like the ship that we're doing, your prices are going to be $1,400 more than mine per couple because you waited until now. So, like in the case of our Italy cruise, our rates are so good because we locked down our rates like a year ago. And because we're in a consortium, because we're in Travel Leaders Network, we have access to group rates that they hold. So sometimes, like we'll look at a ship, like definitely Royal Caribbean Celebrity all day long. There's group rates on so many of those. They're not all the best, but I run into group rates on a lot of those ships. So when you work with an independent travel agent. And the thing is, like if you were to call Royal Caribbean and you call Celebrity, they don't have access to these rates. They're just going to give you whatever the published rates are. It's the travel agent that have access to the group rates, and sometimes extra perks and sometimes things like that. So yeah, it's an interesting thing, where travel agents are able to set up the group, and even if like Royal Caribbean sees these groups on the ship, they can't book you into them. It has to be booked by the travel agent that's connected with the group. So, who creates my content? I do. I do. At some point, I need to look for. I have to look for an editor. So, in fact, I've sort of kind of been looking for an editor. I want to get a video editor to start creating some of my content, and that will be great. How many cabins do you have to book? That just depends on the cruise line. Usually a minimum of 8 cabins, but sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's more. It just depends on the cruise line. And some cruise lines also have a maximum of how many you can book. So yeah. Let's see. That Jurassic Park helicopter flight looks epic. You imagine the videos and picture cost extra. So one of the interesting things about that flight, Stephanie said that, because Stephanie did it, and if you want to see it, go to the Sean and Steph channel and watch Stephanie do it. And she came home like, you need to go on this helicopter ride. She said that they're pumping the Jurassic Park theme music in your head. I'm like, oh my God, this sounds so awesome. But they also tell you to wear plain dark clothing just so that there's no reflection in the glass, because you're going to be trying to take pictures and video from the helicopter, and of course if there's bright sunlight, what does it do? It reflects off of you. So they actually warn you to wear dark clothing. So I do have to remember, I just want to wear a plain black shirt and dark shorts and things like that, so I can go ahead and take pictures. But if I'm going to buy video from that, yeah, I'm sure they're going to charge me more for videos and pictures. It is it's probably the most expensive excursion I've ever done, but it's also the only place I can do it. And there's only one helicopter company that actually lands. There's a bunch of helicopter companies that will fly and show it to you, but there's only one helicopter company that has the permission to actually land there. Unfortunately, the actual landing pad is gone. The landing pad just crumbled and fell apart, unfortunately. So. But yeah. So, Disney Queen. Oh, your daughter's an editor. That's awesome. I spent 32 years as in television, film, and production. I was fortunate to say I'm an Emmy Award-winning editor. Of course, I don't have the Emmy because I wasn't nominated for editing. The show's won. I've been a part of 13 Emmy Awards, so that's kind of cool. So the show's won. I don't actually have the statues. But yeah, that's cool. I have a lot of friends in the industry. So, I had quite the career before I did this. We're just 3 years into this now. So I've taken everything that I learned, running my own creative agencies, running television shows, running videos, and all of that, and turned it into this business. So yeah. Mimi is ready for an Explorer Journeys in early 27. All right, Mimi, I'll tell you what, a lot of people are. A lot of people are ready for us to do an Explorer Journeys. Now,
I'm trying to balance the price versus me personally wanting to do as many days as humanly possible.
Well, yeah. Well,
it's a little expensive.
We could always look at an extended journey for us and do the group on the first part. You can always do that. So one of the things that Explorer Journeys does, and Princess does this, Holland America does this, a few others do it, where you can book extended journeys. So they may have a 7 or an 8 day cruise, and then you can also book an 18-day version of it. You can book a 30-day version. Princess especially, they'll do like 7, 14, 21, 28, 36. Like you can just, instead of booking back to back to back, they actually put the back to backs together. And what's really nice about that, you can just stay in the same room. It's really easy to stay in the same room. I have a couple of clients, they're doing some really cool ones that are going to be over in the Middle East with, actually they're going to start, I believe, in Greece or something like that. And then they're going to move up to Dubai and all of that area. And so we put together 2 extended journeys. I think it's like an 18-day journey and a 14-day journey on Explorer Journeys. So I did have to actually book them at the back-to-back, and unfortunately they do have to switch rooms because I wasn't able to get the exact same room for both cruises. But, I've got them close. And in fact, one of them just had to go next door, which is really cool. Yeah, I was able to do that. She just got to go right next door. I'm glad you found us too, Disney Queen. If we can help you in any way, folks, wherever you're watching us, there are links in the descriptions or the bios, or just simply go to where'swaltertravel.com. Go to contact us. You can set up an appointment. You'll find Corey, you'll find me, you'll find Mindy. You can set up a meeting with any one of us, and our services are truly 100% free to you. And we stay with you until you come home. I think that surprises a lot of people. They're like, okay, so what happened after you booked the cruise? I'm like, we're here. We're basically your concierge, whatever you need. Now, there's certain things that we're going to be able to do, certain things that we're going to recommend that you do, but we're basically here with you until you come home. So we're your sounding board. And most importantly, if things go sideways, Silver Librarian, who's on here, she had a few issues with her cruise, and I've already forwarded those issues on to my rep at the cruise line. We'll see if we can get those issues addressed, because there's just a couple of things that shouldn't have happened when on her first day, and so we're going to see if we can at least get something like that addressed and find out what's going on. And that's just not really something that you can't just call the cruise line and go, yeah, I'm having all these issues. And hopefully you get to the right manager, you get to the right supervisor who maybe is going to help you. We have really, and that's one of the biggest things about working under the KHM Travel Group banner, we have amazing representatives. I mean, amazing representatives. And I have seen some other reps and things like that, and I can tell you that KHM, I mean, they get like the best of the best, the cream of the crop working with them. So very often we can get things done that you might not be able to get done through the cruise line. Not every time. And it may not be the resolution that you want, but at least, you know, you've got somebody in your corner who's going to bat and saying, hey. And I will say, it is one of the reasons why I like Virgin Voyages so much. They go so far above and beyond what they're supposed to do. You know, just some of the things. Because, you know, when we have some situation, we've had situations like right up against embarkation, and they've worked with us. You know, they shouldn't. They should just say, whoop, you know, look, that's the rules. They lose 100% of their cruise. That's it. It's over. Done. But, you know, if I can talk to them, if I can present things in certain ways, sometimes it's like, okay, we can't do everything, but here's what we can do. Would your client be okay with this? So in fact, we recently did that with a land tour where, of all things, suddenly the client sold their house. And the whole closing and everything was happening like right at the time they were supposed to go on their land tour. So I reached out to the land tour operator. Again, we were really close to them leaving for the trip. And the land tour operator's like, let's see what we can do. And we did end up working something out. It did cost the client a little bit more money, but they didn't lose the tour. They're still going to do the tour. They're just going to do it like 6 months later. And it really worked out. So yeah, so we're very excited about that. Sue and Phil, I love this. They're giving us Italy ideas. If you have the chance, try the pizza at Sorbillo's Bio in Roma Central train station. No way. You'll be up in Verona before the group cruise, and we'll see you on board. Well, thank you for that. We're only going to be in the train station briefly to catch our train to Venice. But great idea. We're planning to do a pizza cooking class. Actually, we've got a class picked out that does pizza, supli, and gelato. So we're kind of excited about that. We're still working with our tour partners. We found a couple of things that we really, really like, especially small group, especially early. There's some different kinds of things that we want to do. So we're hoping that our land tour partners can really work with us and do that. So let's see. Cruising Chris, great question. So I mentioned Princess. I saw that Princess has a 17-day Japan trip, which can also be booked as a 10 or 7-day. If you book the 17-day version of it, would you still have to go through the back-to-back process when they home port? I don't know how it will be in Japan, but here in the US, yes. Even if you book it, like we booked a 14-day Caribbean cruise. It was an Eastern-Western. But we came back to Fort Lauderdale in between the two. And so what they did was they just like a standard back-to-back. They gave us a letter and said, everybody meet here at this time, and we're going to walk you all off the ship. And as soon as the Coast Guard clears the ship, you can go right back on the ship.
Now all your luggage and stuff stays on the ship. It's just you and your passport.
Now, I don't know how they do it in Japan. So it may be, they're more than likely going to have to gather you all up somewhere to at least, check you all off and say, okay, you're all here. Whether you actually have to depart the ship and come back on, that all depends on what the local authorities need you to do in Japan. But that's a great question. Yes.
I have heard in Europe quite often you do not have to actually exit the ship at all.
Yeah, they kind of do it on the ship.
Obviously, it's all dependent on what the local laws are. Mm-hmm.
And that's true, like if you do an extended 1 to 3 or 4 cruises all put together, right? You will have to go through that process. Even though you are booked on one cruise, it's still multiple legs. And when each leg of that cruise is done, there will be some sort of a process to confirm that you're still here. And if you have to exit the ship, you will. Like I said, here in the U.S., you do have to exit the ship. But The moment the ship is clear, you're just right back on the ship, and it's long before everybody else gets back on the ship. Because here in the U.S., they have to zero out the ship, and that's the main reason why they take you off. The ship has to have 0 passengers on it before it can start the boarding process for the next cruise, and that's why they do it here in the U.S. Obviously, overseas they can do it different ways, but they do have to account for the fact that you're still on the ship. So something will happen in between the cruises, whether you have to get off the ship or not.
Yeah, but a day or two before the end of the first leg, you will get a letter in your cabin. And
Yeah.
most likely, you will have to, they'll give you a new cruise card or whatever it is that's your room key. They'll give you a
Yeah.
new one quite often for the next leg.
Yeah, very often it's a new room key,
Now,
just
I'm not
because
sure
it's
how
a
it
new
works
cruise.
with like Princess now that they have medallions. I'm sure they can just program it to last the
I
whole
don't
time.
know.
But
I
I'm
don't
not
know
sure.
how they do it. Yeah. Question, have we ever taken a Paul Gauguin cruise? We haven't taken one yet. We booked them. We booked Paul Gauguin and Ponant. They're basically the same company. And we have amazing reps over there. So I do want to take one at some point in the future. But we have not sailed them yet. We have a great relationship with them. Like I said, Ponant, Paul Gauguin, they are operated out of one company, kind of like Royal Caribbean and Celebrity. But fabulous. I mean, fabulous cruise line. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Anybody that we've sent on those, amazing. And if you've never heard of these two cruise lines, these are very, very small ships. We're talking a couple hundred people. And one of the cool things, not Paul Gauguin, but Ponant has like the most amazing luxury icebreaker that goes to the Antarctic. So if you ever want to do something like that and you want to be spoiled in the top 5-star luxury resort, you go on to the Ponant icebreaker. I can't remember her name, but yeah, Bob was posting pictures. Our rep Bob was posting some pictures from that ship, and I was just like, oh my God, that's absolutely, they're all bundled up in their stuff, and the ship is just sitting there stuck in the ice, and oh my God, it looked absolutely amazing. So yeah, absolutely incredible cruise line. That, you know, what we're finding lately is there has been a real movement by our clients and even within the cruising industry. Luxury, what we call luxury cruising, is growing at an exponential rate because I think people are now getting more and more interested into the destination versus let's just go get on a ship. There's still a lot of fun just to go get on a ship, especially for those of us who live, near Florida. We can just go get on a ship and just get away for a week. But more and more, we're starting to find people who are really starting to lean into, Azamara, Oceana, Explora, Gauguin, your Silver Seas, your Scenic, things like that, because these ships are so small that they can go into destinations that what we call the big white ship just simply can't go there. And if you're, there is a lot of value. If you just simply look at the dollars, you say, wow, that's a lot more expensive than if I just go on a Carnival or a Royal Caribbean. But when you look at the total package that comes, and then these destinations that you're going to get to go to, we are seeing a real movement with more and more of our bookings are starting to slide into what's considered the luxury realm and the ultra luxury realm, because it's like, you know what, instead of taking 3 cruises and just tool around the Caribbean, we can take 1 cruise. Look, we're booking 2028 already. Oh my goodness. So you've got 2 years, you've got 3 years to pay for these things. That's one of the reasons, and we've said this before, why our Christmas River cruise is in 2027. So everybody has 2 full years to pay for it. Look, river cruises are expensive by nature, and then you add in a Christmas market, which is only like 3-week window, it gets even more expensive. So we consciously made the decision. We could have gone next year in 26. There were plenty of ships available. There's plenty of inventory available in 26. But we wanted to give our clients time, to have 2 full years to pay off this cruise, because it is a big cruise. It's a big bucket list thing. So we're starting to see that more with our clients too, where, we're booking 27, we're booking 28, we're booking longer cruises, we're booking smaller ships that are going to places. And even like what we just talked about a little while ago with Princess, we're seeing people who are like they may have booked the 7-day cruise before, but now let's we see that, oh, so in Japan, we can do 17 days, we could do 30 days. Zach and Mindy actually, we do have a group cruise going to Japan, and I don't have the graphic here. I totally forgot about that. But when is that cruise? September, October? If you go to our website, Where's Walter Travel, Group Travel, I need to make the graphic before the next episode. But Mindy has a group cruise going on Princess that sails from Los Angeles to Hawaii to Tokyo. And then the next cruise after that would be like, a all around Japan cruise. So we're starting to see more of that, where people are like, you know what, I really want to get experiences, and if it costs a little bit more so I can spend more time in a destination or get to a destination that I normally wouldn't have, then let's do that, and let's book something 2 years out so we can take a little bit more time to pay for it. In the meantime, we'll go on, we'll go on the Carnival, we'll go on Royal Caribbean, we'll have some fun in the Caribbean, we'll have some fun on the Mexican Riviera, maybe Canada, New England, but let's start planning these long-range bucket trips. And it's really a lot of fun for doing that. Chris, if you are doing the Inside Passage to Alaska out of Seattle, I heard balconies are the way to go. Doesn't matter if you choose port or starboard. Balconies are really, really nice. I like having a balcony in Alaska. Are they required? No, they're not required, because you do have lots of public decks where you can go out and hang out. Now, with the round trip to Alaska, first of all, when you're in the Inside Passage on any ship, there's land on both sides. There's things to see on both sides. We were reminded of that because we spent 12 days in Alaska with Oceana this past June and July, round trip Seattle. The thing about the round trip, it really doesn't matter which side you're on if you want to be on the quote-unquote land side, because the ship has to go north and the ship has to go south. One of the things that you can look at with this specific itinerary that you're considering, does the ship hopscotch north, meaning it leaves Seattle and then it stops, it goes north, it stops, it goes north, it stops, it goes north, and then it just comes south all the way back to Seattle? Or does it basically run north and then just come back and make all the stops going southbound? So if you're going to hopscotch northbound, well, then the starboard side of the ship is going to be on the land side for most of it. And if the ship goes north and then hopscotches south, well, then the port side is going to be on the land side of the ship. But really, it doesn't matter with the Inside Passage. And you do not absolutely have to have a balcony in Alaska. Balcony's really, really nice. Don't get me wrong. I love having a balcony in Alaska because there's so much to see. It is an absolutely beautiful part of the world. But we send a lot of people up there who do insides and ocean views. They're like, we can just go outside. We can go see what we got to see.
Because it does leave you more money to do excursions, because excursions in Alaska do tend to be more expensive because the season for cruising is so small.
They do. And if you want to talk at all, Chris, if you want to reach out, just reach out. Where's WalterTravel.com. Contact us, set up a meeting. We have booked, I swear, for the past month, all we have been doing is booking Alaska. And most of it has been Princess. But we've also booked some Virgin Voyages. We booked some Holland America. I think we booked a little Celebrity in there as well. But I swear for the last month, all we have been booking is Alaska. So everybody's going to Alaska now. Wander, how are you? You're doing a Carnival cruise for Mom's 65th birthday. Aw, any tips? Well, definitely let everybody know it's her birthday, because they will embarrass her. They will embarrass her mercilessly throughout. Literally tell everybody. Tell the barista, tell the servers, tell the bartenders, tell everybody. They will embarrass the ever-living crap out of her, and it's awesome. I don't know which ship you're going on, but certainly, the Fahrenheit 555 steakhouse is highly rated. If your ship has a Rudy's Sea Grill, I can tell you that is amazing. We flat out loved Rudy's Sea Grill. And other than that, have a lot of fun. Carnival is a great cruise line. And, depending on the ship and the sail date you're going on, There could be a lot of kids. There could be less kids. A lot of people like the Alchemy bar. It's not my favorite on the ship. When we were on the Mardi Gras, the fortune teller actually was my favorite bar on the ship. I thought it had better drinks than the Alchemy bar, but that's always a big popular thing. So, but yeah, the biggest thing on Carnival is just tell everybody it's her birthday, like literally everybody. And the crew will embarrass the ever living crap out of her. Make sure the room steward knows too, because the room steward will probably do some extra things in the room. Eric is doing the 19-day Princess Hawaii to Tokyo in April 27. There you go. So yeah, that's the one that Mindy is doing in 26. And that should be a lot of fun. There are a couple of cruise lines that do that. So there's a couple of variations on the whole going to Japan thing. Sometimes they go like LA to Hawaii and over. There are some from San Francisco. In fact, we were talking to a client yesterday and I didn't even realize it, or maybe I knew and I forgot. Princess is basically going to have a year-round presence in San Francisco now with the Ruby Princess. She's going to be doing Alaska, like 10 days up to Alaska. She's going to be doing the Mexican Riviera. She's doing California Coastal. She's doing Hawaii. So yeah, that's a new thing now, because all the cruises have been going out of LA with occasionally Holland America going out of San Diego. Well now, and I think Carnival's also putting a ship up there as well. So San Francisco is suddenly going to become a year-round cruise port, it looks like. And that's very, very exciting to see. But like if you want to do, if you want to cruise to Japan, you can cruise to Japan usually from say like LA, San Francisco, Vancouver, and Seattle. It's a lot of the ships, some of the ships that do Alaska also do the Asian market when they're not in Alaska. And another, you can also go from Alaska all the way down to Australia, because at least there's a couple of ships that come all the way up from Australia to do Alaska as well. So yeah, there's some really interesting ways to go around the world. And, you know, some people just don't really realize it. You know, they're like, is it possible? Like the gentleman said to me, can I go from LA to Bali and back? I said, yeah, we just got to figure it out. But yeah, you're going to be on multiple ships to do it. I think there was actually a couple where he could literally just do it with two ships, because there was like one cruise all the way there, one cruise all the way back.
Yeah,
but he
to
wants
Singapore at least.
yeah, to Singapore, and then it's just a short flight to get in. But yeah, so there's all kinds of ways to do things, and we're starting to get a few more people like that who just want to wander. In fact, our clients just got on the one of their Oceania ship, the one that's doing that like 5 or 6 months that they're going on all these various ships. So they just got on to Oceania yesterday or the day before. And, you know, they're just really enjoying, they are just really meandering for about 5 or 6 months. And it's just such a cool way to do things, where they're getting off the ship and they're spending anywhere from a week to like 3 weeks on land, and they get on the next ship and they move along. And it's just kind of a cool way to do it, where, you know, if you got the time and you got the wherewithal, cruise ships can move you along without the need to get on a flight. And it's kind of a nice, relaxing way to travel. So yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, Alex is doing Princess to Hawaii from San Francisco in 27. I believe that's going to be the Ruby Princess. I mean, I actually kind of forgot that we're going to have a ship there now. So yeah, I need to remind myself. And you know, there's so much going on. There's so many ships out there, and so many things going on. And we work with so many different brands that it is hard for me to keep up with everything. So sometimes it's like when a client asks for something, I'm like, because I was on the phone yesterday with this gentleman, and he's like, yeah, I want to go cruising out of San Francisco. And I said, well, it's a very limited window. And I was like, you know what? No, it's not a limited window. You can cruise out of there anytime you want, if you want to go on Princess or Carnival. So yeah. And there are a couple other ships that will sneak in there as well. Jay Camper, you're looking into the Celebrity Beyond. Do I have any suggestions or thoughts on it? You've only been on one cruise. Well, hey, welcome to the cruise family. I love it. So the Celebrity Beyond, great ship, fabulous ship. I have no idea how many people we sent on that ship. A lot of people. We sent a lot of people on Beyond, Apex, Ascent, and even the XL. Yeah, we got people booked on the XL now too.
Oddly enough, not as many on the Edge.
Yeah. Well, because so the Beyond was the first of, I think they call it Edge Plus. She's got one extra deck. She's a little bit longer. So they took everything they learned from the Edge and
Apex.
Apex, and applied it to the Beyond. And so she was the first one to have some new features on her. So she is an absolutely stunning resort. I mean, absolutely beautiful, beautiful ship. There's really nothing to say against her. Now, she still has some propulsion issues. They fixed it as best they can for now, and they've adjusted her itineraries to make up for the fact, but apparently it's something that cannot be fixed until she's brought out of the water for an extended dry dock. So you do have to be aware of that. I haven't heard any complaints of late about, the ship hasn't been able to get to where it has to go. Like I said, they've already made adjustments to the itineraries and things like that. But she is an absolutely stunning ship. You've got the Eden in the back, which is a secondary performance area. You've got the main theater up front. You've got the crazy atrium and the martini bar and all of that going on. Martini bar is not my favorite bar. I like the world-class bar. I think the drinks are much better over there. And of course, you've got the retreat up top. If you want to do the ship within a ship experience, the retreat is, one of the gold standards out there. The pools are gorgeous. One of our favorite features on any celebrity ship is the fact that they have a solarium pool. They have an indoor pool. So if it's getting hot out, you're in a nice climate control area. They got beautiful music playing. It's like a whole spa setup. So Celebrity very much is like a 4-star resort at sea. They really lean into, and in fact, they're the only Forbes star rated resort at sea right now, which is kind of crazy considering all the luxury lines that are out there. But absolutely beautiful ship. Yeah, if you want to talk about it at all, again, our services are 100% free to you for anybody joining in. I'm Walter with Where's Walter Travel. I've also got my wife Rebecca sitting right off camera. So we're celebrating 3 years of Where's Walter Travel. We book cruises, land, luxury, expedition, and our services are truly 100% free to you. Very often on Celebrity and Royal Caribbean, we have access to group rates that are not available to the general public or even to Royal Caribbean and Celebrity. Now, the one thing about Celebrity, and this is where we get into comparison between Celebrity and Princess. Celebrity has the all-included, and I'm purposely doing quotes, the all-included basic Wi-Fi and drinks package. To me, that's not an all-included package. That's just drinks and Wi-Fi. So you get the basic Wi-Fi and you get basic drinks when you include that package with your room. It is either the same price or more expensive than when you go on the... Oh my goodness. YouTube, I am so sorry about that. Oh, the YouTube microphone just went for a ride. Is it still on? It's still on. Sorry, guys. Ooh, that probably sounded great in your speakers. So sorry about that. But the price of the Celebrity all-included is the same price, if not more, than Princess Plus. When you look at Princess Plus, you are getting the prepaid gratuities. You're getting a better drinks package with higher dollar drinks. You are getting high-speed Wi-Fi per guest. You're getting 4 casual meals. So there are restaurants on the Princess ships that are around $15 per person, usually something like an Alfredo Pizzeria, a gastropub, O'Malley's Pub. Those are included. Room service delivery fees are waived, and the Ocean Now delivery fees are waived. So, when you start comparing Celebrity to Princess in terms of the onboard package, in fact, Princess Plus is just hands down the best paid package on just about any cruise line. It really is. So we're often comparing Celebrity Beyond with Princess ships. Now, in terms of the ship itself, Celebrity Beyond, I mean, the whole Edge class just stands alone. It is an absolutely stunning ship, and the only thing in the Princess fleet that comes close to the same idea would be the Star and the Sun Princess, because they do have the Sanctuary that competes directly with the Retreat. The Royal class ships are also absolutely gorgeous, so I hope I haven't confused you. But if you want any suggestions or anything like that, Celebrity Beyond is just a stunning, stunning ship. Absolutely stunning ship. So, Cruising CM had a cruise on the Celebrity Beyond. It was booked on July 20th, and it was canceled. That was probably due to the whole propulsion issues. I remember they had to pull that ship. They did take her into I think a quick dry dock, but I don't really know what's wrong with the ship. But yeah, unfortunately, cruises can get canceled, and especially in a situation like that. The Beyond was having a bad run there for a while. Propulsion issues, this issue, that issue. So yeah, she was having a bad run for a little while. Ironically enough, right after Captain Kate left, just when she started having problems. Maybe Captain Kate knew something, and that's why. No, she didn't. She was, I mean, by all accounts, she was an incredible master of the vessel, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen now that she's over at the Four Seasons. But yeah, you know, unfortunately, things like that can happen. Fortunately, it's rare to have a cruise completely canceled like that. But in the case, I think if it was back in July, that was around the time that she was having a lot of propulsion issues. I'm very intrigued by the fact that they're saying they can't fix it until she goes in for an extended dry dock. And I'm like, well, why don't you send her in for an extended dry dock, though? That makes me think that they got to have some parts made, or maybe an entire engine needs to be replaced. I don't know.
Or just there isn't dry dock space for them until their regular rotation.
Yeah. So it's got to be something pretty doggone serious if they're letting the ship, well, not doggone serious, but something that's a major extended time for that ship to stay out of the water.
It does not affect any of the functioning on the ship itself. It's just, it takes it longer to get to its various ports.
Yeah, it just can't get up to full speed.
You know, have itineraries where the ports are closer together, and they don't have to go as far, and they don't have to go as fast.
I mean, in some cases, they've dropped ports so that they've got an extra sea day, so she can just kind of take her time.
But on the ship itself, everything functions as it should.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely does. So yeah.
And it's by far not the only ship that has propulsion issues. There's been a bunch of them lately.
And, you know, we've been on cruise. We've fortunately not been on a canceled cruise. But we have been on cruises where the itineraries change. Like when we get on the ship, we get a notice and say, hey, by the way, your itinerary changed. Maybe it was due to a storm. Maybe it was just due to something else. But we have been on multiple cruises where the itinerary changes when we get on.
And we actually have had a cruise, the Freedom of the Seas, where it came in like many hours, 3-4 hours later than it was supposed to, back into Port Canaveral because of issues with its propellers, I think.
Yep, we lost one. We lost one propeller. They damaged the propeller, so they had to feather it on the way back. So we were coming back to port on just one engine, one propeller. And that was something. And it was really interesting because we knew something was up, because at the last port, there was like all this diving stuff suddenly showed up at the back of the ship. They had divers going under the ship to take a look at everything. And when we did finally arrive back at the home port, we were a good 7 hours, maybe 8 hours late. It was really late coming back. And it was interesting, you know, looking behind the ship, you normally see the double wake, the double screws back there. You only saw one screw going back there. And we were definitely going slow. And you could actually feel the ship, like, you know, wobbling a little bit back there. I don't know what they did to that prop, but they did something good to that prop. And when we came back, they actually had the whole back of the ship. I don't know how they did this so fast, but they had a massive blue tarp wrapped around the whole back of the ship so nobody could see what was going on underneath the ship. So it was interesting. So yeah, so that cruise, fortunately, that happened right at the end. Like, we got all our ports in.
And luckily, fortunately for us personally, we had just driven to the port, so
so we did not get
flights
affected.
Were not affected for us at all. It's just a little delay for us.
Yeah, a little bit of a delay. So, but you know, that is one of the strange things about cruising. Of course, you know, with flights these days, you never know if your flight's even going to take off. You don't know if your flight's going to get canceled. So many flights have been canceled, combined, this, that, and the other. Travel does require more patience, I think, than it used to. It used to be things were pretty doggone reliable, right? We could pretty much rely that, okay, our flight's going to go, our cruise is going to go, and things like that. And now it's like so many things can happen and can go wrong that you really got to have a lot of patience. Like, you know, I have warned, and I'm going to warn everybody again that's going on that big Philadelphia group cruise. You know, Tony really wanted to be on the first one. He's like, we're going to be on the first one. We're going to do this. Well, keep in mind, there has not been a cruise out of Philadelphia in like something like 15, 20 years. There's not even a terminal They're converting an old Navy warehouse or an old Navy manufacturing facility into the terminal. Now, they can practice all they want. They can run through their drills all they want. But until 2,500 people actually show up to get on a ship, you don't know what's going to happen. So everybody's going to have to be prepared with their patient pants on April 16th, because we really don't know what's going to happen when we go to the ship. All I know is we're going to be on a bus. So it's the bus driver. He's got to deal with it. He or she is going to have to deal with it. I'm ordering a bus, or possibly multiple buses, for everybody staying in Philadelphia prior to the cruise. So we can just relax, be on the bus, and whatever happens, happens. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting getting on that ship in Philadelphia. So we just kind of got to wear our patient pants. And yeah, I'm very sorry that your 35th anniversary cruise got canceled. I hope you were able to take another cruise. You know, that would have been my first thing. Would have been, hey, can we get you onto another ship? And then I would have immediately called Alex over at Celebrity and say, what can we do for this couple? They got bumped. It's their anniversary. Let's get some extra stuff in their room. Let's get some extra stuff for them. You know, that's the kind of thing that we try to do as a travel agent when things go sideways. In fact, I had a couple just the other day, Silversea offered to do something because something went a little sideways with the booking and the billing, and like I wasn't seeing the right rates, they were seeing something else. We're having all these issues, and the client was getting frustrated. And it was just a simple, like a promo wasn't showing up for me on it, and the client was just getting frustrated because she's like, well, I see this thing online, and I said, I'll just call them. And I did, and we figured it all out. The promo just wasn't set up to show up for me, and I had to go to another screen in order to see the promo. It was just some silly little mix-up. But just because she got frustrated, you know, my Silversea rep's like, you know, just when you get her booked, just let me know. I'll put a little something in the room for them. So it's always nice to do a little something like that. So, hey, Kurt, how are you? You putting up your Christmas decorations? Nice. You know, I used to be the Christmas guy. I had over 50 characters at one point that I made. You know, I had the Grinch, I had the Charlie Brown Christmas, I had Winnie the Pooh, I had Calvin and Hobbes. I had all these characters that I hand drew and I hand cut for years. I think I started around 2003 or so, and I think 2017 was probably the last year I put it all up. But yeah, I used to be the Christmas guy. And I'm so excited because I have my mom's Dickens 56th Village. She's got the whole, our Department 56 Dickens Village. And she just had so many pieces. And my cousin's actually going to take them. I'm sending up a whole bunch of pieces to him. I'm going to keep a couple just for myself, but I'm sending the whole village because his wife started setting up something. I'm like, oh my God, have I got something for you? So I'm sending all that up. So yay. So I'm very excited about that. Oh, somebody said my yard looks so peaceful. Thank you. Yeah, isn't it pretty back there? Yeah, I like it back there. We're in the Orlando area, and this is a nice sun porch back here, a fully screened in sun porch. In fact, we had our Thanksgiving dinner back here the other night with Zach and Mindy. That was really nice. So it's nice, you know, it's nice when we can have dinner out here. And I do like to set up, when the weather's nice, I do like to set up back here because it is a very pretty backdrop back there. So thank you for noticing. I love it. Alex, also bring patients during the debark process. I know that is probably going to be an ugly debark as well. You know, it's just, you can't practice this stuff. You just can't practice, because on the debark, we're going to have 2,500 people getting off and 2,500 people trying to get on. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And it's part of a Navy base or a military installation. So, and I'm looking at the roads and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to figure out how they're going to bring us in, how they're going to bring us out, and things like that. There is a parking lot marked, and the parking lot for Norwegian Cruise Line is like they're going to need a shuttle to get you from that parking lot over. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this runs. It's going to be very interesting. I don't know how well it's going to work, but patience.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I just thought maybe we should just book a transfer from Norwegian to the airport after.
That would be the easiest thing to do with something like that, being that big of a cluster getting off. Yeah. So if you haven't done it in the past, you know, you can book transfers through the cruise line to get to the airport. And sometimes it's easier to do that just let the cruise line take you to the airport. And you may not realize that if you're cruising out of Miami, but your plane is in Fort Lauderdale, they actually have transfers that will take you to Fort Lauderdale and vice versa from Fort Lauderdale over to Miami. So they actually do have those kind of things. So yeah, we should probably just do that. Hello, Tanzania. Hi, Tanzania. How are you? Good to see you. One of my favorite things about doing things like this is that we can talk to people all over the world. So I hope everybody is doing well. Virgin Voyages came. Oh, you were on that cruise too. Yeah. So when we were on Virgin Voyages, we did the Brilliant Lady cruise. 13 nights. What a glorious time to be on the Brilliant Lady. 13 full nights. We started out in Quebec. We came down to Miami. And along the way, we did the whole Canada-New England thing. We also got to go through a nor'easter, which was awesome. You can go to my YouTube channel, Where's Walter Travel, and watch 9 hours of it from my balcony. It's actually a really cool shot. I actually do enjoy watching that because it starts out, we're stormy, and then it really gets stormy, and then it starts lighting up, and then I think there's blue sky by the end of it. It's 9 hours. But we actually made it to Eastport, Maine. We actually got there, and it was supposed to be a tender port, and the tenders went in to Eastport, but you could really see that the waves were starting to come up. And while it really didn't look that rough, it's pretty rough for a tender, and it gets uncomfortable on those tenders when they're really bouncing. So they called off Eastport, Maine, but then as we were pulling away, the captain made the announcement that because we were leaving early, they secured a berth for us in Boston. So instead of going to Boston for one night, or one day, we were there for 2 days, and it was actually an overnight. And I actually haven't put the video out there, but we also had the shortest cruise ever during the early morning hours, or actually the overnight hours, where the ship, because we came in early, we tied into a berth that wasn't ours. It was just an empty berth. They put us there, and we were able to spend the extra day in Boston. But for the second day, the ship actually had to move to the proper berth to get out of the way for somebody else. And so the ship actually pulled out of the pier, spun around, and came right back into the pier. It took about 20 minutes for the whole process. So it's the shortest cruise I've ever been on a full cruise ship, about 20 minutes. And I keep forgetting to put the video out there. But yeah, that was such an amazing cruise all the way around, even with the nor'easter. Such an amazing cruise all the way around. We did get hit with some rain up in Canada, no big deal. But Boston was just like, it could not have been two of the more perfect days. It was absolutely stonking beautiful in Boston. And then Charleston was a stunning day as well. So what a great cruise. I'm telling you folks, if you see Charleston on an itinerary, take that cruise. Charleston is a wonderful, wonderful port to come into. Of course, Boston is, what's cool about Boston is they have the hop on, hop off trolley picks up right at the cruise port. It's like, you just have to walk over there and just get on the trolley, and it takes you well in. We did it. We did a food tour, and we took the trolley to get there and back. So it was great. So Barbara's saying that they did the cruise transfer in Seattle. It's easy. Yeah, and Seattle even has that. I can't remember who does it, and it may even be the airport itself. They have a thing where they will transfer your luggage directly from the ship right to your plane. I forgot all about that, but I think it's SeaTac that does it. Like SeaTac directly does it. You have to sign up for it. But your luggage, literally, you come off the ship, you don't take your luggage with you. You'll see it when you get off the plane. It makes me a little nervous not to see my luggage, but apparently it works. We've had a couple of clients who have done it and said, oh, this service is great. We don't have to have our luggage. We don't have to have anything. It's just fantastic. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Barbara, you want to try Virgin Voyages one day? You need to try Virgin Voyages. We need to set up another group at some point on Virgin. One of the things I'm really liking, Brilliant Lady is doing some beautiful longer itineraries in the Caribbean that are really, really nice. And maybe we'll go to San Juan, get on whatever ship is out of San Juan. What's nice about, if you haven't really looked at, some of the more popular islands that everybody wants to go to, they're in the Eastern Caribbean, they're in the Southern Caribbean. You got to go on a longer cruise to get there, or at least to hit more of them than just one. But if you've only got a week, you should look at flying to San Juan instead of flying to Florida, because San Juan is already, deeper into the Caribbean, and you can hit some really cool islands in just a 7-day cruise flying to San Juan instead of flying to Florida. There's just some amazing, amazing 7-day itineraries. Royal Caribbean there, Norwegian there, Virgin is there.
And if you're not a fan
princess.
of sea days, they quite often, those 7-day out of San Juan will have at most one sea day, but you'll
Yeah.
be in ports almost every day.
Yeah, yeah. In
I
fact,
mean, we love sea days, but
yeah, there are quite a few itineraries out of San Juan. It's 7 days, 7 ports. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So yeah, so if you don't like sea days, that is definitely a way to do it. They really, TikTok does some weird things with filtering comments. So Barbara asked me if I see airfares coming down anytime soon, and for some reason TikTok was like, no, we don't like that comment. So I just cleared it. Do I see airfare coming down anytime soon? Who knows? Who knows? What I do see that's happening all over the place, I mean, they're consolidating. They're just trying to fill the planes. That's what it seems like anyway. So where we might have had, I don't know, 10 flights from Orlando to New York every single day, now we have 5 flights, and maybe it'll be 4 flights. So they're cutting down on the number of flights. So I have no insight in airfare and whether it's going to come down. Airfare is just a totally different animal. Cruises, I think at some point with cruises, you are going to start seeing them slide back down a bit. I think the bubble is kind of at the point. Who knows? But it seems like the bubble's kind of at the point where things should start to sort of kind of come back to normal. I don't think we're ever really going to see the last minute cruise deals again. I think a lot of cruise lines have learned that if they just don't do that, they can hold their prices up. So they don't need to fill the ship. They don't need every single berth filled. So sometimes it's worth it just to say, you know what, leave 30 rooms empty. And because if we do that, if we keep devaluing the cruise, then more and more people are going to wait and just not book at the higher rate.
And
so
for most cruise lines, I think they only have to sail with 30 or 40% occupancy to break even. So if they're over that, they're
yeah, I don't know if it's
into profit
30% still or if it's higher, but yeah, I certainly once they hit 50%, they don't need any more people on the ship to make a profit. Question, Macrina. You had a flight change due to schedules. Now your direct flight to Fort Lauderdale has an 8-hour layover in MCO. If you want to stay in Orlando for a few days and use the Bright Line, what do I tell the airline? I mean, depending on the type of ticket that you have, you may not have much say in the matter at all. Like if it's like a non-refundable ticket, you're not going to have much say at all. You just basically call the airline and you explain the situation. This is what I would like to do. What are my options? And then they will walk you through the option. But if you have refundable tickets, you should have more options than if you have non-refundable tickets. But basically, the easiest thing to do is just simply call them and explain your situation and have them walk through. That's what I do all the time with the cruise lines. I just simply explain the situation. I have an idea of what the solution should be or what the options should be, but the people at the actual cruise line, my agents and the supports at the cruise lines, they know better. So yeah, I would just simply reach out and say, this is what I like to do. What can I or what can I not do, and how much is it going to cost me? Good luck with that. I hope things work out the way you want to do it. Barbara, right now airfare from Pensacola to San Juan for 2 round trip, it's almost $1,900. When you go from the smaller airports, it's always higher.
I would look at what's like. It looks like, I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a drive to any of the major airports. It looks like maybe New Orleans might be the biggest close airport, but just check any of the nearby airports that are, maybe slightly bigger than Pensacola and just see what their rates are. It may, even if you have to stay a night in a hotel, it may work out cheaper.
Yeah, a lot of our clients, especially our clients who live in the regional airport areas, will very often drive to Dallas, to Atlanta, to Orlando, to Fort Lauderdale, because just doing that little bit of a drive can save $500 to $700 because you don't have that hop. There's always that hop. When you're coming in from a regional, there's almost always a hop. You got to go from Pensacola to Fort Lauderdale. You got to go Pensacola to Orlando. You got to go from some regional to New Orleans. Sometimes looking at the bigger, also you got to look at the day. with the flights, it's always, cheaper to fly in the middle of the week versus flying on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And sometimes for whatever reason, oh, well, if you fly on Tuesday, wow, it's much cheaper. So it just depends. You have to just play around with when to fly, because like in San Juan, we've got a couple of hotels that we absolutely love that are very reasonably priced. And so you could fly into San Juan a couple days early, spend some time in San Juan, and maybe you save money on the flights on both ends. Maybe you stay an extra day after the cruise to help save some money. So you just need to kind of play around and doing that. So, yeah. So,
And that pretty much goes for any flights.
yeah,
For
it
people
pretty much
who
goes
live-
with any flight.
Who live close to the smaller airports in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah. So Macrina, I would just simply reach out to the airline and just say, this is what I'd like to do. What options do I have to change my flights around? So yeah, definitely want to do that. Let's see. All right. Oh my gosh, we're at the top of the hour. I've got a phone call coming up. Yeah, so somebody asked me earlier, when do I work? Now. I have to start working now. So folks, if we can help you in any way, I'm Walter with Where's Walter Travel. I've been here with my wife, Rebecca, for the past hour or so answering your questions. So if we can help you in any way, just reach out. There are links in the description wherever you're watching this. where'swaltertravel.com. Go to the Contact Us page. You'll see myself, Mindy, and Corey. You can set up an appointment with any one of us. So just reach out, and we'd be more than happy to help you out. And wherever you are in this amazing world, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for your support. We're celebrating 3 years. We're so excited. We're so excited. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go to Disney World. We're going to Disney World this week. We're going to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and we're going to be hanging out with some amazing friends, including Stephanie. Yay, we're going to hang out with Stephanie for the Christmas party, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So I have limited availability this week, but I am around, and Corey and Mindy also have availability all week. So just reach out. So wherever you are in this amazing world, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your support, and have an awesome rest of your Sunday.